All right, let's talk about dividing fractions. So remember, some of you last year might have used the keep, flip, change, the KFC rule. What you're doing when you do that is multiplying by the reciprocal. So when we see division, it's the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. Well, you might need to remember what the reciprocal is. So if you see dividing by 3, it's the same thing as multiplying by 1 over 3, because 3 is really 3 over 1. And when you see dividing by 1/4, for example, we are going to multiply by 4 over 1, or just times 4. So the reciprocal, we say the reciprocal is the refliprocal, because we just take the two numbers and we flip them and multiply by that. So let's try it out. So if we have 1/2 divided by 1/4, keep, flip, change, or also known as 1/2 times the reciprocal, 4 over 1. Then multiplication with fractions is easy peasy. Top, top, bottom, bottom. So 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. And then simplify. Our fraction bar really means division. So this is like 4 divided by 2, which is 2. Number 2, 3/4 divided by 5/6. So keep the 3/4 and then multiply by the reciprocal, refliprocal. So 6 over 5. Multiply straight across. 3 times 6 is 18. 4 times 5 is 20. And since these are both even numbers, I know that I can simplify them. So I could divide both by 2. Always a good starting point. So 20 divided by 2 is 10. And 18 divided by 2 is 9. So 9 and 10 don't have any more common factors. So 9/10 is my answer. Some of you might have learned how to cross simplify. So if that strategy works for you, go for it. If that's more confusing for you, then just use top, top, bottom, bottom, and then simplify. Number 3, I'm actually going to throw a negative in this one for us. So let's say let's do 2 negatives. Negative 2/3 divided by negative 3/5. So I'm going to keep negative 2/3 and multiply by the refliprocal. And remember, our negative sign just means 3/5 is a negative 3/5. So I can put the negative on the bottom or the top or out front. It doesn't matter, like we talked about last week. So I'm just going to leave it up top because that makes it a little easier to work with. So I'm going to multiply straight across. A negative times a negative is a positive. So 2 times 5 is 10. I know it's going to be positive 10. 3 times 3 is 9. And simplify, so I know there's 1 9 in 10. So that's 1 whole. And then what do I have left over? 1/9. So 1 and 1/9 is my answer there. Now, if you have mixed numbers, we always want to convert them to improper fractions first before we do our dividing. That just makes it a lot easier. So I have 2 and 1/2 divided by 3/4. First thing I'm going to do is convert this. So multiply. 2 times 2 is 4. Plus 1 is 5. So that one is going to be 5/2. And then again, keep, flip, change, or multiply by the reciprocal. So straight across. 5 times 4 is 20. 2 times 3 is 6. And obviously that's improper, so I want to make it into a mixed number so I have an idea of what that amount even is. 26, 6 goes into 20, 6, 12, 18. That's 3 times, right? And I got to 18, so I had 2 left over. So 3 and 2/6, which is the same as 3 and 1/3. So 3 and 1/3 is my final answer. One more. Let's pretend this one is negative. So I have 1 and 2/6 divided by -3.5. So first, make it improper. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 2, that's going to be 8/6. Multiply by the, let's convert it first. So that's going to be 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. 7 halves, and I didn't flip it yet, so, okay, Mrs. Plus, that's looking really confusing. We're still dividing because I haven't flipped it. I just converted it to a improper. Don't forget your negative sign. It's easy to do. Don't forget it. Okay, so now I need to keep flip change. So 8/6, keep, multiply by the reciprocal. So 2/7 is the flip, and I'm just gonna leave my negative sign up top, like I said, because that makes it a little easier to keep track of. 8 times -2 is -16, and 6 times 7 is 42. You notice these are both even numbers, so I can divide them both by 2 to simplify. So that's -8 over 21. Okay, and there you go.